Now that we've had the opportunity to talk about creating our own design, taking a design and making some changes to it, like adding a pattern to the library, now let's talk about other things that you're going to find in the library. So if we go to the library, one of the things you're going to find is, in our particular library, a design that was created at the beginning of the school year. Now, there may not be items in your library if you have a library, like a different account other than the class account, but you can get things for your library in the store by clicking on the store, and then you can start without having to worry about spending money. You can get a free design from the store. They have one a week on Thursdays. And you can, I always suggest that if it's not going to cost you additional money, to go ahead and get the SVG and the commercial use so that we can make a shirt out of it if we'd like, or put it on a mug if we'd like. And we can then check out with that design and put in our password. And if you have your own account, you would be using your own account to get these items for yourselves. And it might help if I spell everything correctly. And so I don't know what's going on there, so we're not going to waste any time trying to figure it out. So I have this design that's in the library, and I've got it open now in my design studio. And one of the things that you're going to notice is that when we decided to put this design on a shirt, we wanted the word Cedarville to be in all white. However, the background is white. So what happens is currently Cedarville is in white, but when we take those border lines off, you really can't see the word Cedarville. So we implemented a technique where we would select a color and a box or drawing tool like square or rectangle, and we would draw the box on. Now, it would be helpful if you weren't changing the line color, but you were changing the color of the palette for the fill color. So we're going to do that one more time, and we're going to draw a box. And you see how I put this gray box, let's just say we're going to put it on a gray shirt, and even if we're not going to put it on a gray shirt, we want to see the design with the white on it without the cut line. And now I'm going to come up here and choose the select tool and then send that gray background to the back. And then maybe what I'm going to want to do is select all of these pieces and use that align tool that we've discussed in the past to align this. Now, the reason that worked so smoothly is because of these arrows. If you see that there's a box around the arrows, those are grouped together. Cedarville is grouped and Indians is grouped as 3 separate elements. And that's important if you're going to align it. Otherwise, if the arrows were all individual arrows, they would have just smushed up all on top of each other. So anyway, we have the Cedarville Indians here with the arrows in the background. And you can see where we also played with the idea of adding different categories. So maybe it's a Cedarville Indians cheerleader or a Cedarville Indians mom. And there were different options that we had, just like we had for the mug that we previously did. But we're just going to deal with Cedarville Indians in general right now. And we're wanting to cut this out, but they're all 3 different colors. So I discussed how we were going to do that. So what we simply do for ease of use is I'm going to take that Cedarville, I'm going to copy it, I'm going to open a new tab, and I'm going to paste it. Now notice I can't see the white, so just for my own purposes, I'm going to make that a different color. Now remember, when I hit send, it's still going to have that red cut line around it. And this happens to be a design that we've already welded and all this, and it's in our library. It's already ready to go. We're just needing to cut it out. So I have Cedarville, but let's say I need to make 5 shirts. So what's going to happen first is we know we're making shirts. So what I would suggest is that you go ahead and flip it, because you will have wasted vinyl if you don't flip it and you're dealing with something going, it will actually be backwards on your shirt. So we're going to go ahead and flip it. And then I'm going to come up to Object and Replicate. And I am going to select a fill page and see how many Cedarvilles that gives me. So if I fill the entire page, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and an extra one. Now I can choose to go ahead and do 6, because maybe I'm going to assume that after 5 people see this shirt, on other people, that a 6th one may be ordered. I might mess one up, so I might want to go ahead and print the 6. I might find that I don't quite have 12 inches of white vinyl available, and so maybe since I only have 10 inches, this is perfect. I can get rid of one. So those are some things to keep in mind. So I took the white elements and I pasted it onto a new page, and I even saved vinyl a little bit more by selecting all of those and taking it over to the edge. That way I can save vinyl here. Maybe I find a piece of vinyl that's 10 by 10 from another project that we've used, and I'm not having to have a 12 by 12 inch sheet of vinyl. And this is when we start talking about using scraps, or maybe not even filling the whole mat up with vinyl. And we'll talk more about that later with smaller projects. But for right now, I've got my 5 Cedarvilles, and I would save this as the name of the design, which was, we called it Row of Arrows, and then I'm going to say _white. Now you could do _Cedarville or whatever, but it's just helpful for me to know that this is going to be what's going on the white vinyl. And sometimes it may be more than one word. It may be Cedarville with an arrow, that would be white, or something else. So I'm going to save this as Row of Arrows white. And then I'm going to go back to the design Row of Arrows, and I'm going to choose the Indians. And I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to go to a new tab. And I'm going to, we know we need to make 5 of those, so I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to go up to Replicate. And at this point, again, since I need to make 5, it makes sense to try and fill the page. And we find that only 4 fit on a page. So we have some options. We can take one more and put it on another page to do a 5th one, like this. Or you might find that you're trying to fit it in on the side. So we might do something like moving this over like this and pasting another one and rotating it and seeing if I can fit it on this one sheet, since I need 5. And I mean, that seems to fit in this particular case. You can try out some different things. So now I have 5 Indians and 5 Cedarville, and I'm going to save this one as Row of Arrows red. Now finally, I'm going to come back over here to the Row of Arrows, and I'm going to choose the arrows, Control C, and what we're going to notice is that pretty much fills up the entire page. And so I'm going to just be able to cut out 5 of those, like in separate sheets, pretty much. So I would cut out 5 sheets of the black vinyl. Maybe if I turn on my view and my show my grid, which is supposed to be shown right now, so we're not going to get into why that's not being shown, but maybe I can get away with like a 10 by 11 sheet of vinyl for the black arrows, but obviously I'm going to save this with row of arrows black.